Okay, so how many times do you think in your life you'll need to know how to hang something? There's pictures, of course, but other times you might need to actually mount something, meaning screw something to the wall. So I recently bought one of these handy dandy little vacuums, okay? And it comes with this wall mounted charger, which I should figure out which way it goes first, but I think it goes, yeah, so it's gonna hang on the wall this way, and I want to mount it, and in my closet here, I have an outlet. So I'm gonna mount it next to my outlet here so that I can keep it plugged in and charging when I'm not using it, okay? If you don't wanna mount it, of course you don't have to, you know, and then I can just set it down on the floor and whatnot, but then it tends to get in the way and slip and slide all over the floor. So I'm gonna figure out how to do this and you're gonna watch. So now I know which direction it goes because I've actually attached it on here. And good thing I did that because originally I was thinking it goes the other direction. So I don't need my vacuum. I'm gonna put that out of the way. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at my device, my little mounted thing here, and figure out where my holes are. This probably came with instructions, but let's be honest, I threw them away. This has 4 holes. So that's where I'm gonna be screwing my holes. And I've got 4 screws. I'm just gonna take one of them. You can either use a screw or you can use a pencil or a pen, but you need something to mark your holes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna take 2 other things. I'm gonna take a level, and this is going to tell me when I have something hung straight on the wall. Because if I hang this kind of cockeyed, guess what's gonna happen? Eventually, over time, it's gonna end up falling off the wall because the weight of the vacuum is gonna pull on it. So that's what the level is for. The other thing I have is called a stud finder. Kind of a funny name, but a stud is one of the pieces of wood that's behind this piece of sheetrock, okay? And they run up and down this way. And the reason I want to find one is anytime I'm hanging something that's heavy, I want to try and attach at least 1 or 2 of the screws to the actual stud that's behind the drywall. Okay, and if I do that, it's just gonna mean that it's going to be extra sturdy, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my stud finder and I'm gonna run it along the wall in this direction because studs always run vertical, okay? I know that studs are always gonna be in my corners, but I'm not gonna hang it in the corner. The other thing I also know is I'm always gonna have a stud either on the left or right side of my outlet, because that's how they mount outlets. So the stud's either gonna be here or here, and I'm gonna use my stud finder to find it. So I'm going to plant this firmly on the wall, okay? I'm gonna squeeze both sides because that's how this guy runs. And if you zoom in closely for me, you'll see that it's gonna start to light up either when I get close to electrical, which is what it's doing right now, or that red at the top means I am at a stud, and then it will go away when I'm away from the stud. So this is where the stud is on the right side of my outlet. So that means I'm gonna hang this guy on this side of my outlet, okay? So what I need to do then is I just need to figure out how high I wanna hang it, and then I wanna hang it close to in line with the side of that guy. I'm just gonna grab my vacuum really quick to make sure that I know about how high I wanna do it so it's off the floor. So, and I'm just, you know, gonna kind of eyeball it because I don't really care in this instance how high it is. But we're gonna grab this guy. I'm gonna make sure my cords are kind of placed in there where they're supposed to be. And then I'm going to use my level. If you come zoom in really, really close, you'll see. I'm gonna set this on a flat surface of my wall mount here, and this little bubble in the center here will be right in between the 2 lines when it's perfectly level. If I have this a little off-centered, you'll see that the bubble goes from one side to the other when it's not perfectly centered. But if I do it just right, that bubble goes right in the middle, and that tells me I'm right where I want to be. So now I'm just going to take my screw and I'm going to push it in all 4 of the holes. I was gonna try and do it with the level balance down there, but that's not gonna, oh no! That did not work well for me, did it? Sometimes it's better to have two sets of hands and not have somebody videotaping you. So I'm gonna hold all of these together. Hold my level, hold my thing in place, press my screw into all 4 holes so I know where I'm going. And then I'm done with my level now. And now I have all my holes, okay? So some people like to pre-drill their holes. And what that means is they're going to take their drill with a drill bit and drill a little tiny hole in there. Because this is just drywall, I don't need to do that. I'm just gonna take my drill and I'm gonna drill this right in. And I'm just gonna start the holes and then I'm gonna back this out and start and back it out just so that when I get this in place, it'll easily mount for me without needing a second set of hands. Okay, so now I'm going to just start with putting my screw in one of the holes here. And I'm gonna put it in part way into one of those holes I just started. Grab another screw, do the exact same thing. Put it in one of those holes, get it lined up with the other hole, and then now I can screw it in all the way if I get it lined up. Okay, you don't want to do it so tight that you end up breaking this plastic. Okay, that's one thing you want to be really careful with if you're going to be using a drill like this. I would always recommend trying to use a drill like this though if you can. Trying to do this by hand with like a little screwdriver is going to be impossible if you're going into a stud, into a wood stud. Okay, it'll be really, really hard just because wood is hard to drill into. Okay, so I'm just going to add my last 2 screws. Now that I've got these top 2 on there, you can see they're in there good, but these last 2 are really going to just help hold this on there really nice and tight once I get the weight of the vacuum on there. And then I'm just going to give it a, firm check. And that's all there is to it. It really is not that hard. Now we're going to plug that in. I'm going to pop my vacuum on and hopefully we have power. We do. So we're all done. Good job.